Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our Build with Mapbox 2024 keynote. We have a full keynote session today, starting with presentations from 4 Mapbox speakers: Garrett Miller, our Global VP of Customer Engagement; Chris Byers, the head of Mapbox Search Products; Camille Sanandaji, Product Manager for Navigation; and Alistair Miller, Product Manager for Imagery on our Maps team. Also joining us today for a panel discussion, we have 3 special guests from Voy, Anaplan, and Michelin Mobility Intelligence. Now, before we get started with the content, just a few logistical notes. Captions are available in multiple languages. To enable that, please use the captions button at the bottom of your screen in the Zoom window. Also, we will be inviting live questions for the panel portion of the keynote. To participate, please submit questions through Zoom's Q&A feature, also down at the bottom of your screen. If you are having any technical issues with Zoom, you can send us a message in the chat to the hosts, and we'll do our best to help. Now, looking beyond the keynote session, our Build event this year is spread across the week so that you can choose which sessions most interest you. Every session that you attend live automatically gives you a chance to win a Mapbox prize pack. You can discover all of the Build breakout sessions available throughout the week in our Zoom event lobby or on the web at mapbox.com/build. Now, that's all the logistical notes from me. So with that, I'd like to invite our first keynote speaker to the virtual stage. Over to you, Garrett.
Hello, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here today. Welcome to Build with Mapbox, our annual event where we explore the latest location technologies and showcase the dynamic Mapbox community. My name's Garrett Miller, and I'm Mapbox's Global Vice President for Customer Engagement, which means I get to work with a lot of you. At Mapbox, we equip businesses across all industries to lead with location technologies. We collaborate with our customers to unlock valuable insights and unique features powered by location data. Over the course of this week, you'll see how this works, hearing from our customers, our developer community, and our product and engineering teams. The conversation we have during Build are some of my favorite. They demonstrate how location-driven solutions are increasingly vital and valuable for businesses today. And even more powerfully, they reveal what it means practically to be a leader in location. There's huge variation in how geospatial data and technologies are used across industries. And that diversity continues to increase as more and more companies discover ways to benefit from location insights. Working with Mapbox customers every day, I get to see an incredible range of use cases and applications of our services. So it's fascinating to take a step back and ask, what do leaders in location share in common? Are there any patterns among the highly successful adopters of location technology? And I've been thinking about this, and over the last year, 3 traits have really stood out for me. First, leaders understand the value of investing in customization of location solutions, tailoring it for their needs. Second, they balance the customization with efficiency, embracing solutions and partnerships that reduce the amount of geospatial heavy lifting they have to do in-house. And third, they foster a culture of innovation and early adoption of novel location solutions. Now, let's consider the first trait, customization. It goes without saying that something tailored will always fit better than one size fits all. But in the world of location technology, it can be tempting to think that a generic, general-purpose option, whether it's a map, a routing engine, or a data set, may be good enough. But from what I've seen working with our customers, I'm convinced that the ability to customize is critical if you want to truly unlock the potential of location for your business. Now consider how Omnia Fishing uses Mapbox Studio to adjust even the most subtle details of their base map styles to ensure seamless compatibility with a wide range of custom data overlays. The result is a truly unique and best-in-class map experience specifically for anglers, their customer base. And Omnia has the paid subscriber numbers to prove it. Now, the Mapbox team has recognized the value of customization from the very beginning, making flexibility a central tenet of Mapbox product design so that you can choose where and how to integrate us into your tech stack. This is true across just about every industry. And to highlight that, let's hear from one of our micromobility customers, Voy, joining us today for our keynote panel.
Thanks, Garrett. I'm Aldona Martinenko, a product manager at Voy. Voy is revolutionizing urban mobility with sustainable solutions for greener cities and healthier communities with a fleet of on-demand electric scooters and e-bikes across Europe. We combine the Mapbox mobile maps SDK, static images, and embedded search to give our users a fast and accurate picture of where to find scooters, riding zones, and parking spots. And we need that information to be specifically tailored for micromobility context. Operating large shared micromobility fleet across nearly 100 cities, each with different regulations, is a formidable challenge. If our assets or vehicles are parked or caught operating in prohibited areas, regulatory fines and costs are building up. On top of that, some of these zones are dynamic and can change on certain days or at specific times. Even in permitted areas, there can be safety concerns specific to scooters or bicycles, such as cobblestone streets or busy roads with heavy vehicle traffic. And we want to account for these factors in the guidance we provide to our users. Now, with the new zone avoidance capabilities in Mapbox navigation, we can better serve our customers by providing customized routes that update dynamically based on the change in zone data. Even with a large volume of change in data, with Mapbox, we can recalibrate routing seamlessly and automatically without requiring users to update their apps. As a result, we can respond more quickly to dynamic regulatory changes, keep our customers safer, and enable smoother expansion to new markets. As a product manager working closely with Mapbox on these new capabilities, it has been refreshing to collaborate with a geospatial provider that truly acts as a partner. The Mapbox team works with us to develop the specific customizations that we need and helps us implement them efficiently. We chose to build with Mapbox starting in 2021 because we wanted a platform that provided our engineers with flexible building blocks to fine-tune our user experience. It has been exciting to see how Mapbox invites our feedback and collaborates with us to optimize our use of location tools. So back to you, Garrett.
All right. Thank you, Aldona. That's so great to hear. And I'm excited to say that we'll have more to share about the new navigation customization features that Voy and other customers are using later in this keynote. But before we get to that, the second trait that I see among leaders in location is that they are able to find a balance between investing in customization and capitalizing on efficiency gains. The organizations that I see successfully integrating location intelligence into their core business use a pragmatic and scalable approach, making smart choices about when and where to lean on partners for geospatial infrastructure. As an example, consider how Wolt uses the Mapbox Matrix API to calculate traffic-aware delivery time estimates around the world 24/7, continuously bombarding our API with massive request volumes. Mapbox makes that level of global location awareness easy, reliable, and cost-effective. Leaders like Wolt continuously measure the impact of location technologies on their business and identify where there are efficiency gains and by how much. This helps to refine implementations, demonstrate return on investment, and drive continuous improvement. Now, the good news, you don't have to tackle efficiency on your own. Our teams are also constantly on the hunt for efficiency gains, both within our own systems and in collaboration with our customers. Now, when you work closely with us, we'll use our expertise and cross-industry understanding to accelerate your journey into becoming a location leader. And you're part of a community of companies that you can learn from and even directly benefit from. Consider what our customer Anaplan has built and is here to share.
Thank you, Garrett. My name is Dana Tarian, and I'm the Vice President of the Sales Performance Management and Revenue Advisory Practice at Anaplan. Anaplan is a cloud-based planning and performance management platform that connects data, people, and plans across an organization. We empower businesses to make better, faster decisions by enabling planning processes across functions like finance, sales, supply chain, HR, marketing, and more. Our platform enables teams to collaborate in real time, model complex scenarios, and quickly adapt to changing market conditions. Each month, over 160 of our customers utilize geo-mapping capabilities powered by Mapbox across a wide range of use cases, with 600 unique users benefiting from these solutions. A core part of our offering is the integration with Mapbox boundaries data. We apply boundaries within our sales territory planning solution, as well as in custom implementations like supply chain optimization and data visualization. Serving as a geospatial translator, this feature enables multiple data sets, delivers clear and actionable location-based insights. Earlier this year, our decision excellence research revealed that companies using data-driven decision-making are 20% more likely to exceed performance goals. Specifically, when location data is incorporated, businesses saw a 15% improvement in sales planning efficiency and a 12% increase in forecast accuracy. This impact has been especially profound in sales territory planning, enabling more precise resource allocation, supply chain optimization by enhancing logistics efficiency, and trade promotion and advertising location selection, ensuring targeted and higher impact campaigns. Anaplan customers, many of who are developers themselves, enjoy the freedom and flexibility provided by Mapbox tiling. This capability allows them to build the most innovative, customized solutions tailored to their unique business challenges. By leveraging Mapbox tiling, they can visualize and manipulate geospatial data seamlessly, enabling them to optimize everything from sales territory planning to supply chain logistics in ways that best suit their needs. At Anaplan, we don't just talk about data-driven decisions, we live by them. That's why we chose Mapbox Boundaries as our sales territory planning solution. The efficiency gains have been significant. There's no need to source or maintain the data ourselves. We can trust the performance of the tile sets, and Mapbox handles all the hosting and processing for us. This lets us focus on delivering value to our customers. Mapbox Boundaries scales seamlessly, growing alongside our clients as their needs evolve, whether they're adding geographies or different boundary types. And with our annual licenses, there's no limit to how often our clients can access those data sets. Equally important is having a partner who collaborates with us, not only in technical implementation, but also in refining our product strategy. The Mapbox team has been instrumental in helping us push the boundaries of what's possible in location intelligence, and they've been a fantastic partner in driving innovation. We truly appreciate their support. Anaplan really enjoys what they bring to our customers, and our customers are enjoying this as well. Thank you.
All right, I want to actually emphasize that point from the Anaplan team. Mapbox is more than just a technology provider. We are your partner. We want to dig into the details of your industry and your clients so that together we can find opportunities to get ahead with location solutions. And that leads me to the third trait that I see among leaders in location: continuous innovation. Leaders are always watching for new ways to experiment with the latest technology. As an example, our long-standing partnership with BMW. Since 2020, engineers at Mapbox and BMW have been developing a new way of building automotive navigation systems. We're pioneering the use of a software development approach in the automotive industry that equips BMW to build highly customized navigation systems, such as the beautiful round map screen in the new Mini, made possible with the flexibility of Mapbox SDKs. Leaders like BMW foster a culture of innovation and encourage their teams to stay ahead of trends and think creatively about how location solutions can add value. They embrace novel ideas and are proactive about reaching out to partners, like Mapbox, to explore what's possible. At Mapbox, we recognize that our customers are drivers of innovation, and that's why we're so open about what we have in development, inviting you to join early betas and asking for your feedback on new products and features. Creative requests and ideas from our customers fuel us to build better. When you team up with us early, it's a win-win for you and for us. It gives our teams applied insight to inform product development, and it gives you an edge, the chance to lead with location solutions that no one else has. An example of this that I love to share is from the Michelin Mobility Intelligence team. They reached out to us about doing something new with our traffic data, and we're lucky enough to have them here with us today.
Hello, Garrett, and good evening from Lyon. I'm Fabrice Guineux. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at Michelin Mobility Intelligence. Michelin Group, being more and more a data-driven company, Michelin Mobility teams is at the heart of this transformation strategy. Our mission is to fulfill Michelin purpose, leading the way toward a more sustainable and safer mobility through our data-driven solution. With more than 6 billion kilometers analyzed and several millions of connected drivers in Europe and in the United States, we are a market leader in the analysis of mobility data and beyond. Michelin Mobility Intelligence delivers insight that help our customer to make decisions faster and more robustly. We began working with Mapbox traffic data last year when we identified an opportunity to use telemetry data to advise transport department and city in the UK to improve road safety. We realized that there was an opportunity to innovate with Mapbox traffic data because of how it captures actual behavior happening on the network, including driver mistakes and typical traffic patterns. Because Mapbox data detects the actual movement of vehicles on roadways, it provides more coverage of roads compared to traditional traffic data sources that rely on fixed sensor or niche use cases. Mapbox already detects some of the patterns we are interested in from a road safety perspective, such as detection of events like harsh braking and harsh acceleration. Based on customer feedback, together, we identified that our needs were somewhat different from the existing format. But Mapbox team saw the exciting potential of this analysis and was very collaborative in developing the data set that we needed. All that to say, it has been an exciting time working with Mapbox team so far. Their teams are extremely responsive to answer our questions and concerns. Together, we are continuously working on new data sets to keep innovating with the data. We look forward to further collaboration and learning together. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Fabrice. I just love that example of how we learn alongside our customers, and together we create value, not only for our companies, but for wider society as well. Now, to share some insights and highlights of what's new at Mapbox, I'm going to hand the virtual stage over to technical leaders from our search, maps, and navigation teams. Keep an ear out for how these new features equip you to customize your implementations, benefit from efficiency gains, and champion innovation. Now, over to you, Chris.
Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Byers, and I lead the search data products here at Mapbox. Search is responsible for the Mapbox Search SDK, Searchbox, Address Autofill, the geocoding APIs, as well as data products, including Mapbox Boundaries and Mapbox Movement. We're passionate about foundational data, like addresses, points of interest, place names, administrative boundaries, and more. This data is crucial to how both developers and their end users experience Mapbox. With the rise of generative AI, users expect smarter, more intuitive interactions. Sometimes customers don't need to know the exact name or spelling of a location. They just need a general area where they want to go. And that's where Mapbox Search comes in, focusing on delivering a human-centric search experience. Our goal is to understand user intent and provide structured geocoding that not only handles precise queries, but also gives smart, relevant results when only general input is provided. Whether users are searching for a neighborhood, nearby cafe, or a broader area, Mapbox Search aims to provide this human-centric search experience. Behind the scenes, we're combining the power of AI models with the expertise of our search data team to significantly improve the quality and relevance of our search data. And here's how. First, we're using machine learning models to refine and improve the accuracy of arrival points. These models take into account street names, complicated road layouts, likely entrance points, and parking lots to help ensure that users are guided to the correct location. This is especially critical in complex urban environments with dense apartments or store locations. We actually already have customers using this in production, like Curb. They provide urban mobility solutions throughout the US and major metropolitan areas. And they're using our arrival points associated with geocoding results and search results in order to better pick customers up and drop them off at the right location. Central to achieving a search experience that feels natural and human is how the search interface handles the way that humans communicate. We've integrated natural language processing into the Mapbox search box product. And that means that whether a user inputs a casual query or a more complex and specific request, our system can interpret the intent behind the words to deliver accurate results. This makes the search experience feel more like a conversation than a mechanical interaction. In addition, we've improved our semantic search and fuzzy matching capabilities to account for typos or variations in spelling and white space, making the search experience smoother and more forgiving. This underlying search architecture already feeds into MapGPT, the location-aware AI assistant that Mapbox launched last year. When a user asks MapGPT to find a location of interest, the LLM translates that question into a query to Searchbox API, which then sends back results to the AI system. And it's a mutual exchange. Now we're working on adding MapGPT's advanced natural interface search capabilities into our text search product and making it available to all developers. The underlying model is designed to convert natural language input, such as conversational queries, into actionable search commands. By interpreting user intent, whether they're searching for a specific business, address, or general category like cafes near me, this model will enhance the accuracy and relevance of the search results. As we continue to refine and train the model, we anticipate that it will significantly improve users' ability to find exactly what they're looking for. And finally, our search technologies need to be continually learning and adapting to improve search outcomes. We've implemented 2 LLM systems that help our team refine search quality and ensure that results are consistently correct and relevant. These systems analyze vast amounts of data, both from Mapbox ranking relevance system and from the wider internet, to examine patterns in search behavior. This helps us to anticipate user needs, such as how to rank the most relevant results based on popular places nearby, or use the most common searches in an area. And it also helps us stay up to date by accounting for changes like a shop's new business hours or a new restaurant that just opened. And we're actually working with our premier automotive customers and our customer A&WB in Europe to test these models and how to appropriately allow customers to tune search relevance and priority for their users, building a custom experience for them and an experience that best serves their customer. But enough to be talking. Let's take a look at how all of this comes together into a fast, reliable, and more human-centric search experience. It's demo time. Well, I'm going to hand it over to my colleague, Jack Alto, for an awesome iOS search development example.
Hello, and welcome to the Mapbox Build Search iOS demo. We'll set up this project with Swift Package Manager and UIKit. So to begin with, this is a new blank project using UIKit. We'll open the project settings and package dependencies and add Mapbox Search. The latest release and pre-release versions are listed in the README, and so we can enter that version number. For reference, this project is using Xcode 15.4. We'll add these packages, Mapbox Search and Mapbox Search UI, to our application. And this pulls in the dependency for Mapbox common. The next step is to add our access token in info.plist. I'll do this off screen, and for your project, you'll provide your own token. This is the only place that you need to add it. If you'd like to add it programmatically, you could also do that too. And now that we're inside our view controller class, we can add our search dependencies for Mapbox Search and Mapbox Search UI. The next step is to create a search controller. And some of the initialization options include a configuration that provides all sorts of useful utilities, but to get started, we don't need that just yet. Lastly, we will use a panel controller for a nice interactive UI that can slide out of the way. Our pre-built UI is ready. So now we'll build and run the demo application. And we have this panel controller, which gives us the sliding controls, and surrounds the search controller, which gives us all of this functionality of searching by category, favorites, and just a regular query. Things like coffee. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great build.
So now I'm actually going to show off an example of one of our internal tools. Search Quality GPT is an LLM-based tool that a couple of members of our team put together in order to better gauge the quality of our own search experience globally and in a more organic fashion. Search Quality GPT allows us to feed in sample queries into our search engine and not only see whether we have corresponding POIs that the LLM generates in the regions that we want to check, but also see whether those POIs are ranked properly or missing certain information. This allows us to, in an automated fashion, improve our data set going forward and improve like the ranking and relevance experience as well. So let me run you through it. Up here, I have a mode query that we've put together that lets us put in certain POI types, regions, and types of queries that we want to check. I'm going to go ahead and get this started. But while I'm doing that, I can show this is looking for 3 cities in Spain, so where to generate POIs for testing. It looks for the top 5 restaurants written in the local language. That's what kind of POIs to generate. And then generates a string to throw into the LLM to generate a result. We also have a few sample parameter options to throw in to use the right engine and use the right search engine as well. So once all that's done, that sends off our query. We can go look at the results. So shortly, this will return a set of results that the LLM put together. And then we get a list of POIs that ran through the system. So here we see the queries that the LLM came up with, where those scored in terms of the quality, whether we had that result. So in this case, false is good. This is looking to see whether the result was absent from the result set, and then whether that result had a bad rank. So we can see a few of these, or a couple of these, had a poorer rank than it should have. And then we can actually go over here and see the commentary from the LLM. So in this case, we had a bad result rank. So we can go in and see there are multiple results that precisely match Casa Lucio at different addresses. However, the accurate address for this renowned restaurant is the address that's given. In this case, we can use this result to go in and double check the address that's a part of the metadata for that record and update it if necessary. In other cases, we can see the result is present and ranked first, but there are duplicate results in various regions. So we can say, there are multiple instances of this restaurant, and we need to be aware of that if we're ranking, so that a proximity should be given if we want the correct result in this case. So the cool thing about this is we can run it in an automated fashion and improve our data over time, in addition to looking at organic usage from the search engine itself and folks using the search. So to take advantage of all this data and the new capabilities of Mapbox Search, make sure to check out our documentation pages. And you can also join me at the Custom Data Pipelines Tech Session on Wednesday. Now, though, I would like to welcome to the virtual stage my colleague, Alistair Miller, our product manager for imagery and maps.
Thank you, Chris. And hi, everyone. Great to be here to kick off Build 2024. I'm Alistair, and I focus on all things related to imagery and other raster data sources. I'd like to share some news about the Mapbox tiling service, which I consider to be a Mapbox power tool. Let me explain why. I'm sure some of you are familiar with the concept of tile sets. This is what we call it when a data set is chopped into a collection of smaller tiles that are ready to render on a map. Tile sets make it more efficient to display large data sets, and they're a foundational part of the Mapbox architecture. Those of you who have been building with Mapbox since our early days will likely remember creating your own tile sets with tools like TileMill and MB Tiles and the Mapbox Uploads API. Or maybe you made and hosted your own map tiles. We've come a long way since then. The Mapbox Tiling Service, or MTS, transforms the experience of creating and managing custom tile sets. In a nutshell, with MTS, you define a set of configuration options called recipes to convert your data into tiles. The tiles are then hosted on Mapbox servers and are ready to use across your applications. What makes MTS different is how it enables fine-grained control over the design of a tile set, from data manipulation to unioning to zoom-level-based logic and more. MTS lets you easily work with data sets that would otherwise be very cumbersome or require a lot of messy, repetitive data conversions. For example, Polaris uses MTS to process data for thousands of trails into a tidy set of core tile sets, kept consistently up to date and optimized for display across all their maps. When we first launched MTS, it only supported vector data, but now, drumroll please, MTS also supports raster data. That's right, if you're like me and work with a lot of imagery and raster data sources, you can now use MTS too. And this brings big benefits for customization, efficiency, and innovation. MTS has always been about making it easier to add lots of data to your maps with precise control over custom tile set design and styling. Now you have the same control with your raster data. One important aspect of the raster tiling is that MTS preserves numerical data fields, which means data can be styled and queried at runtime for dynamic colorization or point querying. The result is more visually appealing and interactive raster layers on your maps. For example, you could do things like visualize time series meteorological temperature data, or create animations of wind forecast data, or build interactive features that query categorical data, such as agriculture or land use data. You can also now use MTS to create tile sets of custom GeoTIFF files without file size limitations. This opens up new ways to work with custom imagery in your Mapbox maps, such as showing imagery changes over time, remote sensing imagery, or adding your own UAV data. MTS also improves efficiency in several ways. First, it improves the efficiency of your mapping and data infrastructure, especially with the new raster support. You can now migrate to a single pipeline for custom data and let Mapbox handle processing and hosting. This saves you engineering time and money. Take, for example, our customer Line Yahoo Corporation, formerly Yahoo Japan. Their team uses MTS to create time series visualizations of live weather in Japan, which update every 5 minutes. When they replaced their large in-house tile servers with MTS, they slashed infrastructure maintenance costs while also providing more reliable performance for their users. Second, MTS itself is highly efficient. You're benefiting from enterprise-grade data processing speed and reliability. MTS uses a distributed and parallelized processing architecture that is 90% faster than traditional infrastructure. Mapbox has set that all up, you just get to use it. Third, the tile sets you make with MTS enhance your development process and overall map performance. Once you create a tile set hosted with Mapbox, you can use that same tile set over and over in different styles. You can style it in Mapbox Studio, and you can add it across all your different applications. And both vector and raster tile sets can be specifically tailored for optimal performance on your web and mobile maps. In terms of innovation, MTS makes it easy to get creative with data. I keep hearing about new and surprising ways that customers are taking advantage of MTS to stand apart. Consider how T-Mobile sets a new standard for interactive mobile coverage maps. They use MTS to routinely process their nationwide 5G network data into highly detailed tiles that render smoothly on their coverage map, down to the block level. But for me, as a raster guy, I'm especially excited about the new raster support and how it will change map builders thinking about working with raster data. No longer will rasters be just image layers on your map, they'll be the star of the show. To help inspire this, I'd like to show a few examples of what you can now build with Mapbox raster tiles, looking at weather data in particular. So what we're looking at here is a map of Japan and the Korean Peninsula, visualizing data provided by Japan Meteorological Agency, or JMA. They provide a series of weather data to cover things like temperature, precipitation, dew point, humidity, and more. And we've chosen to visualize a few here to walk you through what you can do with raster data. The first thing you'll notice is we have a time series built into the layer itself. So it's representing time in 3-hour increments for this data set and showing those changes as represented in the different colors on the map. Now I can go ahead and just pause this, move it forward and back with manual controls throughout to see at a given time and get that smooth transitions with the raster data. I can also zoom in and change the color palette, where if we wanted to look at grayscale for some reason or cooler colors, we can do that and still see those represented in a different palette to maybe, customize the experience that you want to create for your users. The other thing that we can do is zoom in and refine on the amount of data that we show. Since it's raster data, I mentioned the numerical values are persisted, and right now we're choosing to display between -30 and 30 degrees Celsius. But if I zoom down, we can just change that range from -10 degrees to 10 degrees Celsius, noticing that many of the areas are above 10 degrees, but that data will persist and just pull from those values in the map to show it as it changes over time at the scale that you've set for that given set of variables. Next, we'll take a look at precipitation and how that may look. With precipitation data, you may want to look at a different color palette to really let the intensity areas come through and show on the map. You can see where the storm is moving across the island, but again, be able to change this where if you wanted to change the amount of precipitation that you model, you can zoom in or out and that changes the palette, or you can again pick from a particular different palette if you want to change the style and the experience that your customer is receiving. The other thing I want to show you, once I change the palette back to the spectral color, is how we deal with particle animation. For series of data such as wind or waves or maybe smoke, where there's both a direction and intensity, you can animate that with particles that show both the direction and the strength of that data visualized as smooth lines. So in this case, we'll start with wind data, let that render on the map, and you can see the wind primarily moving from south to north from the island of Japan up towards the Korean Peninsula and China. But as we play this through time, you'll see along with the temperature, the wind shifting to more southern wind direction, going off the coast of China and Korea back towards Japan and circling around the island. With particle animation, you can choose the thickness and the length of the particles that you want to animate based on the input data so that you can animate something like wind, which may behave a little bit differently than something like waves. Waves are going to be a bit more dynamic. You can see how they act, in the open ocean versus off the coast of Japan. And one of the cool things that we've been able to do with this is as you work through the time series, these particles don't need to redraw. They're animating on the fly as the time changes with the series of waves going across the ocean. That's something that can be really useful for creating a really immersive experience for your users. Now we want to take a look at a different data set to see how you can represent global data on a globe. In this case, we're looking at the Global Forecast System, or GFS, provided by NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Agency here in the United States. We have data from a couple days ago, and like I was showing before, you can run it through a time series to see how the temperature changes over the time that is represented. You can also go look, since it's a global data set, go look at other parts of the world to see how temperature is at that same time. With the time slider, just let it play through the sequence by itself. The other thing that I find really cool is a different way to look at particle animation of wind data in this case. Before, we had smooth white lines that were really kind of flowing, but now we're choosing to represent the intensity of the wind with different colors here. So as I zoom in, you can see there's a bit of a storm coming off the coast of like the Carolinas here a couple days ago. And with the swirling here, you can see the most intense winds here on the northwest corner, from red with the oranges down to green to the blue where it's a bit less intense. These are stylistic options that you can choose as a developer to really create the experience that's unique and that you want to convey to your end users. So this is just a preview of things that are now possible with Raster MTS, available for every Mapbox account. I hope this inspires you to try new things with Raster data to bring it life in new and engaging ways. If you want to learn more and ask questions, please join the Custom Data Pipelines tech session that we're having on Wednesday. Now I'd like to welcome to the virtual stage my colleague Camille Sanandaji, our product manager for Directions. Camille?
Thank you, Alistair, and hello, everyone. I'm excited to be here today from the Mapbox navigation team because we have an update that is all about the 3 themes that Garrett has emphasized: customization, efficiency, and innovation. For years, Mapbox has been building out our world-class navigation engine, adding in live traffic awareness with numerous customized routing parameters and evolving it into this living system based on global map data that is continuously updated. Our goal has been to offer the best ready-to-use navigation engine for route planning and turn-by-turn directions. While we've made it easy to add navigation features into their products and workflows, we keep hearing from customers that they could unlock further value from navigation if they could customize it. Of particular importance was the ability to have routes avoid specific custom-defined areas. So today I'm excited to share with you that now it is possible to go beyond standard navigation with our bring your own navigation data capabilities in Mapbox navigation. With Mapbox navigation, you can use your own geospatial data in combination with Mapbox routing and turn-by-turn directions to achieve custom zone avoidance. And this uses Mapbox infrastructure that is familiar. You start with creating a tile set of your custom data, up to 5,000 polygons per tile set recipe, and then feed that data into your navigation directions requests. This works for both driving and cycling profiles currently. Already, we are seeing how these capabilities are unlocking our customers' ability to innovate and serve their clients better. Take the example of the work of our customer CTG, which builds and maintains navigation solutions for public transit organizations. In addition to the actual transit vehicles, such as buses or trains, transit agencies also operate fleets of mixed vehicles, such as vans and heavy-duty construction vehicles, that have special permission to use sections of New York parkways that are otherwise available only to passenger cars. But a large portion of underpasses on these parkways have limited height clearance, and many bridges can't accommodate heavyweight vehicles. Within this complex network, it's really difficult for drivers to remember all the low-risk access points that they're supposed to use and the high-risk areas that they cannot use or enter. Now, with Mapbox Navigation SDK and the new Beyond Bring Your Own Data zone avoidance capability, CTG can build custom routing and navigation solutions for transit agencies so that their heavy vehicle operators can get turn-by-turn directions tailored to their vehicle specifications that safely avoid high-risk areas. In addition to the themes of customization and innovation, we also have kept efficiency top of mind in our product design, both in terms of how custom navigation data is managed and in terms of how it integrates with end-user applications. Now, we've made sure that the data ingestion is very fast so you can update your data rapidly. This is especially important for customers dealing with dynamic conditions. Currently, you can update your custom polygons as quickly as every 10 minutes. You can reach out directly to Mapbox, and we can even decrease that time frame to 4 minutes maximum. Distributing the data to your end users is also efficient. When you push a data update, it automatically takes effect across all your applications. Because the data is updated on the server side, users don't need any action to update their app. And from an operational efficiency standpoint, we've designed the Beyond capabilities to integrate with Mapbox Studio so that it is not necessary to involve your engineers when it comes to updating your data. Less technical team members and operators can view and edit the polygons in your tile set within the user-friendly Studio interface. And also they can publish changes directly from there. Now, another customer taking advantage of these benefits is Picnic. They're an online shopping app for home grocery delivery in Europe. Picnic uses these really unique electric vans for their deliveries that are highly efficient and reduce emissions. But due to their specialized design, these delivery vehicles can only reach top speeds of 45 kilometers per hour. This restricts them, obviously, from operating on high-speed roads, motorways, and so forth. So Picnic must also account for dynamic regulatory no-go areas that change on a daily basis. Things also like changeable road conditions with potholes can pose a lot of damage to their vans as well. Picnic operations managers have defined custom areas for their drivers to avoid, and they use Mapbox Studio to rapidly edit those polygons based on regulatory changes and driver feedback. The result then is Picnic delivery drivers with their driver app built with the Mapbox Navigation SDK can now get turn-by-turn directions with customized routing that helps them stay compliant with regulations and safely avoid high-risk areas and hazards reported by their fleet drivers. Now let's take a look actually how Beyond works. So here there are 4 major workflow steps when using the Beyond product. The first step is to prepare your data in the proper line delimited GeoJSON format with all of your features and Beyond specific properties. For zone avoidance, that is the exclude routing property. You can also manually prepare your navigation data, as we were talking about before, using the datasets feature in Mapbox Studio, which we'll run through in a moment with a demo. The next step is the upload step. Beyond utilizes Mapbox tileset sources to store and manage your custom navigation data. Now, the cool thing about Mapbox tileset sources is that you can also utilize Mapbox tiling service, also known as MTS, to publish the same data and visualize your zones to your end users. This allows you to provide a more immersive navigation experience, whether you are displaying route lines with zones using our Maps SDK and Directions API, or the full turn-by-turn navigation experience with the Mapbox Nav SDK. So next step now is transform. Once you have your data uploaded to a tileset source, you're ready to transform your navigation data into a Beyond recipe using the Mapbox Beyond API. Basically, this transforms your data so it is ready to be used by our Mapbox routing engine with your Directions API requests. And last, definitely, but not least, is the route step. The last step is where you configure your directions requests for routing using that Beyond recipe name. Include the name of the specific Beyond recipe you would like to apply to your directions requests by using, now we specifically call it the Beyond recipe name parameter. And we'll go over that in a little bit. Now, though, that you have an idea of the high-level workflow, let's head over to Mapbox Studio, where I will show you how to manually configure and prepare a polygon for Beyond. Okay. So here we have Mapbox Studio, where we are in the datasets feature. Here I have my dataset, Beyond UI Test 2. As you can see, we already have pre-drawn polygons. I'm going to show you how to create a brand new polygon. Go up here to the Draw Polygon button feature. Now, let's just say that we are Picnic and we discovered a pothole in this roundabout. So we don't want our drivers driving there. I'm going to click to create a coordinate. And I'm going to do this again, make a square essentially, to make sure that all of those intersections in the roundabout are accounted for. and then you can select the return key to solidify the polygon. And now the next step, which is really, really important, we do not want to forget this, is to make sure that we add our exclude routing property. So I'm going to type this in and make sure the value is true. Now we can confirm. And now I'm going to select some of these others. As you can see, the exclude routing property equals true in all of these cases. Now let's say that you want to edit a polygon. In order to edit, you select the polygon, select the coordinate, and then you can drag and drop or do whatever you would like to transform it. And that's Mapbox Studio demo to prepare your polygons for Beyond. Okay, now I'm going to switch screens. So here now we are in our internal directions debug tool, and I'm going to show you what routes look like with Beyond zone avoidance versus without Beyond zone avoidance. So here we have a giant polygon. I'm going to plot the departure and destination coordinate. And now we're going to run it first without Beyond. So as you can see, the route completely goes through the polygon. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to input the Beyond recipe name parameter. Let's see what happens. And there we go. It completely circumvents the whole polygon area. Now, sometimes this comes up. What happens in the event that you have to violate the polygon exclude routing property? What we can do, let's reset. Here's our departure. And then let's say that our destination is right smack in the middle of this polygon. And we're going to run it with our parameter. So as you can see here, it's really trying hard to circumvent, but ultimately it has to enter the polygon. So it's a soft exclusion is what we call it. Also, though, the nice thing is that you'll get a notification within the route response specifying that you have also violated that exclude routing criteria, which can be super helpful. Beyond is currently available in private beta, so if you would like to start using the Beyond capabilities, please get in touch with the Mapbox sales team. And if you have any questions or would like to learn more about Mapbox navigation generally, please check out the Mapbox tech sessions on Wednesday. With that, back over to you, Garrett.
Thank you, Camille, and thank you to all of our Mapbox speakers and guests. I find it incredibly energizing to see how the Mapbox product teams work so closely with our customers and how we share the same focus on channeling the benefits of customization, efficiency, and innovation into real-world impact and business outcomes. I'm sure that you'll continue to see these themes emerge throughout the entire week sessions, and I hope they provide a useful framework to think about your own work. It is indeed an exciting time to be building with location technology and to be building at and with Mapbox. And I really do mean it when I say that we are your partners in this. If you have ideas that you want to build out with Mapbox, please get in touch with me and my team, and I really look forward to it. For now, I'll hand the stage over for the customer panel portion of this keynote. And thank you everyone for joining us today. And I hope that you all have a great week at Build. Can't wait to build the future with all of you.
Thank you, Garrett. I am honored to be hosting a panel today with our 3 guests to elaborate on what they shared about building with Mapbox. We will continue discussion of the themes from Garrett's presentation and explore how they relate to the experiences of each of our guests and their teams as leaders in location across several different industries. Aldona is a product manager on the core experience team at Voy. Dana is the VP of SPM and Revenue Operations Advisory Practice at Anaplan. And Fabrice is the Chief Marketing Officer with Michelin Mobility Intelligence. I have several questions to ask our guests, and then we will have some time for Q&A from the audience as well. So please do ask your questions for our panelists using the Q&A button in your Zoom window so that we don't miss it in the chat when it's time for Q&A. All right, so let's get started. Let me just stop my screen share here. We've got all our guests here, great. All right, so first up, let's get all of our panelists here. And I have a first question for the whole panel. Now, you've just listened to Garrett's observations about the importance of customization, efficiency, and innovation when building with location technology. Your companies are all great examples of this. As leaders in the space, are there other reflections on these themes that you would like to add? Are there other traits that you think are key to unlocking value with location technology? Maybe Aldana, could you start us off?
Yes, of course. A reflection that I have on this topic is about sensor fusion, or as we call it, sensor fusion. For example, when we just started our very first scooter model back in the days, they had basically no location tracking at all, which was problematic. Then we used GPS on the phone. Then we started using GNSS on scooters, then GPS through the camera. Then in some cities, some of our vehicles have cameras on scooters. So all of that is basically creating this set of tools that you can use to improve the accuracy of location positioning and to ultimately provide better user experience. Because if, for example, let's say our user is riding and is in a urban canyon surrounded by high-rise buildings and GPS drifts for any reason, we want to make sure that we have these other tools to rely on in this moment so that the user experience ends up being great, and then the user manages to get to their end destination. And of course, I also have to mention AI development in location technology as well, and its ability to analyze these massive data sets and draw conclusions, identify patterns and trends, and all of the opportunities this provides for personalization. That's something that is really exciting development and keeps being exciting, especially in location technology area, where, for example, in the case of Voi, it would mean solving the whole idea of getting from A to B for users without them having to even think about it. Or, for example, helping them navigate in a quickest or cheapest way based on the data we already have about patterns and the location, or maybe even in the prettiest route because we know it's a tourist, let's say. So to summarize, I think the using multiple technologies, multiple devices, combining all of that with our own data about user patterns, but also with what AI has to offer, a combination of those provides really powerful foundation for user location technologies.
Mm-hmm. I knew AI was going to come up on the panel at some point in terms of leading technologies in the location space. Thank you, Aldana, for those insights too. Dana, would you like to comment in terms of traits that you see that are key to unlocking value with location technology?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been in sales and revenue operations for most of my career. Anaplan is a platform that specializes in improving processes with planning across all of the enterprise. So that includes sales and marketing, as well as customer success, and also the supply chain. So I've been using location technology in my own career for the past 25 years. I'm a strong believer in it. And when I joined Anaplan, one of my highest priorities was to bring that capability to the Anaplan platform. And that's how we forged our relationship with Mapbox. And the reason why it's important is because you're dealing with sales executives from across the globe who are dealing with very complex problems and customer sets and supply chain issues, as well as marketing opportunities. And they need the ability to quickly understand that information, to assimilate it into decisions, and then turn those decisions into actions. And one of the quickest ways to do that is to be able to visually represent what their market looks like, where they're penetrated, where they're not penetrated, and then give them the opportunity to assess on an account by account, using latitude and longitude, or at a postal code level, to understand the value of moving some of those postal codes and accounts from person to person, and then load balance those between individuals as they're doing it. So it just makes for shorter planning sessions. It makes for much more effective decisions, and it really makes for better outcomes. And it really affects the salesperson's ability to be successful in the coming year, because when they can see where their opportunity is, where to go, and how to pursue it, it just gives them a better understanding of how they can serve their market. Other things that we also look at, or our customers look at, is the drive time. Looking at different cities, we all know that distances on cities can be pretty meaningless because you've got traffic to deal with and you've got other obstacles. So being able to bring all that information into a sales force is incredibly important, and I wouldn't do it any other way.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like these location features are not just for pretty visuals, they're absolutely integrated into very critical business decisions in a tailored way for your different clients.
Absolutely, and they mean tens of millions, if not billions of dollars for some companies, and making sure that you get the go-to-market strategy correct. And the basis of strategy is really the geolocation, where everyone's located and where the opportunity is. I have a background in the military, so like the whole idea of strategy and planning made a lot of sense to me when I started to get into the sales organization, and that's where I am. I'm a sales strategist and planner. Mm-hmm. And having tools available, just like you did in the military when you had maps, there's no difference. You need to be able to see where the opportunity is, see where your forces are, and then figure out how to deploy those forces in the most effective way. And there's no quicker way to do it than with geolocation.
Mm-hmm. Couldn't agree more. Fabrice, do you want to round us out for this question in terms of what are traits that you see for folks who are leading with location technologies?
Yeah, thank you, Maria. Yeah, I would say on our side, the keywords are really customization, efficiency. And as Aldona or Garrett already mentioned it, even if we use the same bricks to solve an issue, we need to do customization in order really to fit with the customer request. And that's what is key. It's really to customize our service and to in order to get the right answer to our customer. But in our case, as we are really dealing also with safety, another word is very key for us is equity. Because as we are providing safety insight, it's important that what we provide is answering to the need of the customer, but also appropriately, and which is reflecting the reality. So when we deal with safety, we need to make sure that the insight that we are delivering are covering all type of area, rural, urban area, low income, high income population, car, trucks, bicycle, pedestrian. And this is where really it's key for us also equity in order really to deliver what we promise. It's a better safety.
Such a huge responsibility for anyone building with geospatial technologies and this data. Thank you, Fabrice, for calling that out. All right, next, a question just for you, Aldona. Shared micromobility is an exciting and evolving space. As you've mentioned, navigating the regulatory requirements of different jurisdictions is one area where location technologies have proven to be useful. Can you share more about how Voy is innovating solutions to this challenge?
Yes, of course. And we can definitely see nowadays, and especially in the last couple of years, that more and more cities want to have regulated operations. And we support that. We understand that cities want to make sure that the company they allow to operate there can do it in a safe and efficient way and actually provide value to users and not just being an eyesore. And when working with this kind of requirements, we usually, first of all, try to understand the reasoning behind them. And similarly to what Fabrice mentioned, it often comes down to safety, because cities want to ensure that the services safe for everyone, not just people using the service, but also citizens who never even use micromobility. And in this case, the challenge or the question we're trying to solve is basically how can we decrease the likelihood of an accident or dangerous riding behavior by using location technologies, other data we have, all the possible patterns and trends that we observe in the industry. And an example of this kind of project could be our partnership with Lazarillo, which is an accessibility app. We have it live in some cities. And in this partnership, basically, Lazarillo alerts their users about who are usually visually impaired people about parking spots or voice scooters in their proximity. And in a similar way, we can also trigger voice scooters to play sound whenever a Lazarillo user approaches it or is approached by a voice scooter. And the way we use location technology in this case is that basically we have these two objects. One of them is a Lazarillo user who is potentially vulnerable person. And on the other side, we have a vehicle that can potentially pose danger to this vulnerable person. And then what we're trying to solve is basically how do we make these two objects talk to each other and alert each other about their proximity using their position and data. And in this case, location data helps us understand when they're close to each other, but also by doing that, we are decreasing the likelihood of an accident. And in a similar way, we can also, location technology help us identify dangerous riding behavior. For example, if there is an area in the city, let's say it's a skate park, and we see that people are doing tricks on scooters in that skate park, or we notice that vehicles that are used there then come back to us being damaged or vandalized. And by using location technology, we can actually we can prevent this kind of behavior by either completely disabling this area using geofenced areas, or we can, for example, limit the service in some way, create speed limitations in that geofenced area, or even enable or disable certain features so that we drive down the likelihood of this kind of behavior. And we also prevent other kinds of misuse and also drive down the likelihood of our vehicles posing danger to anyone in the city.
I like that, the sort of micro administration of micro-mobility down to the skate park level, but also your other partnership that you mentioned with Lazarillo, a great example of the theme that Garrett touched on, that we don't have to solve these things in isolation. There's a lot of other folks in this ecosystem innovating with location technologies. Let's partner up and build solutions together. That's a really
definitely
solution,
because we have the same goal basically.
Yeah. Sounds like a great partnership. And I guess continuing on that theme, a question for Dana with Anaplan and the partners and clients that you work with. You mentioned recent research that you've been doing about the value add of location services within business decision software, including things like sales territory planning software. Could you share more about the research that you've been doing?
So this year we partnered with McKinsey, and McKinsey went out and surveyed 500 executives from the largest companies, the 1,000 of the largest companies within the UK, within Canada, and also in the US. They did more than 20 in-depth interviews, and they collected more than 50,000 data points as part of the overall process. And the goal was to understand how effective decision-making really affected the value of the company, and then also the connectedness inside of the company and the velocity of the decisions that get made. So we found that it's a little bit intuitive, but we found that when companies are very efficient and effective at making decisions, and I can give you the definition of what we did with those 50,000 data points, they trade at a much higher value than those companies that do not. Their total shareholder return is 14 points higher than those that are in the lower quartile. So there's in what we do and what all the people on this call do, sometimes it's very difficult for us to quantify the value of our efforts, but we went off and qualified that using these 50,000 different data points. We looked at two different pieces of it. We looked at enterprise connectedness, which is the vertical connectedness of a company. So that's how well you're connected from the top of the organization all the way down to the individual contributor. The horizontal connectedness, which would be across all the different organizations, so from sales to finance, marketing, supply chain, HR, everybody that's included in this, and then external connectedness, and that's connected to information from outside of the enterprise. And for Anaplan and for Mapbox, it's the ability to bring in that external data into the decisions that we're making and how efficiently and effectively we're able to do that. So part of the questionnaire was focused on that. And then the other part was on decision excellence. And the decision excellence is the quality of the decision, the velocity of the decision, and then the efficiency of the decision. And I mentioned in my previous answer that when you have visualization, when you're able to present intuitive data to people in such a way that they can understand it instantly and then make those types of decisions, that greatly improves the quality, the velocity, and efficiency of those decisions. So what, not only do companies that get really good at this trade at a much higher value, there are other things that we noticed, like 43% less time spent in unproductive meetings. So just imagine trying to communicate the vastness of information that we're able to represent with geolocation data in a spreadsheet or in a narrative. It would just be impossible to understand as quickly as we can. A 25% increase in what we deem to be crucial matters inside of a company. So what's important, and are we focused on what's important versus what's not important? And 38% more likely to make data-informed decisions. So when you're using geodata, it's really informed by the information that's contained within that. And Anaplan is a perfect platform to help present that. Other surprising findings were 58% higher level of connectedness with customers and suppliers. So we're also using Mapbox to connect to company suppliers so that they can see their entire supply chain and where their goods and materials are at any given moment. They're 42% more aligned on processes, practices, and roles. So they're able to spend less time on data paralysis and more time on communicating with one another. And then the last one is 50% more time spent monitoring and steering the performance of the company. So I think we've all arrived at meetings before and nobody can agree on the data. Nobody really trusts it. Nobody understands where they started and the whole meeting gets derailed. But when we're able to present information in a very clear, concise way, especially with visual representation, like what Mapbox can help our customers do, it just makes for a more efficient organization. And there's no wonder why they trade at such a higher value. So we were able to quantify that, and we're pretty pleased with what we saw.
Mm-hmm. That's very reassuring that, yeah, you're seeing that kind of real world impact with your clients and across other companies as well. If folks want to partner with Anaplan and take advantage of some of those benefits, what's the first step?
Probably the first step is to reach out to me. You can find me on LinkedIn and I can connect you with the right person. Also, we have a wealth of information that's available on our website. We have a connection to that data that I just mentioned, the Decision Excellence Report. You can download it, you can read it for yourself, and yeah, we can connect that way.
Fantastic. Well, and a great echo of the theme on efficiency. Maybe to round out the theme on innovation and creativity, Fabrice, a question just for you. I love the example of how your team spotted an opportunity to build something new with Mapbox traffic data. Such a great example of innovation that is also grounded in practical awareness of what's really valuable to your clients, not just innovation for innovation's sake. Could you share some insights into the culture of innovation on your team? How do you find that sweet spot of overlap between creative exploration and grounded practicality?
Yeah, I would say first we are part of the group Michelin Group, who is, I would say, has within its DNA to have innovation for more than 100 years. And within Michelin Mobility Intelligence, this is, I would say, part of our daily work, daily activity to innovate. But as you mentioned, Marina, it's key that this innovation is at the service of our customer. And what the best than starting from the customer point of view. And this is always from where we start, identifying the customer pain. And to do so, we have teams which are spending a lot of time with our customer, understand their daily activities, their constraints, really to seek what is their pain, how we can help them with data in their daily activity. It can be either on road maintenance planning, with constraint about budgeting, can be in emergency situations. So that's really one of our, I would say, strengths. It's our team, our ability really to understand and to support the customer, and then work with partner and the team like in Mapbox to really create the product that fit with the customer needs. And I can give you an example. When we speak about harsh braking, of course, it's a big difference when you have harsh braking on a national way at 2 o'clock in the morning compared with the same harsh braking at school crosswalk at 7 o'clock in the morning. And this is really where it makes a difference. You have the data, and then you really have to be able to understand and to bring the value to the customer based on his situation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very different situations. Yeah. Well, and actually, I see a bunch of questions starting to come in the Q&A box about some of the details of your work in the UK. So we'll get to those shortly. Please, if you do have questions for our panelists, go ahead and put them into our Q&A box. I've got one more question from me, and then we'll open it up. So a question for our whole panel again. Let's look to the future. As leaders in location, how are you thinking about the evolving role of location technology in your industries? Are there any trends or challenges or even just exciting ideas that you are tracking? Maybe let's start with Dana this time.
It's hard for me to confine my answer just to Anaplan because I'm a huge user of Strava, and I can tell you that Mapbox data has greatly improved the quality of my life because I travel for work quite a bit, and whenever I'm in a new city, and that's my cat just showing me, but I'm always looking for a new safe place to go out for a run. And because of the integrations with Mapbox and Strava, I'm able to do that very quickly. And if I know there's a certain distance that I want to go, there's a certain time that I want to be out there, it's instant information. And I think it's easy to take that level of access to incredible information for granted because we've all gotten so used to it. But I'm at the point where I remember life before and I remember life now, and it's such a dramatic improvement in just helping me personally. For Anaplan customers, we tend to focus on geolocation data mostly in sales because it is the deployment of a force globally, and we want to understand where the opportunity is, and we want to understand where our resources are deployed. It's expanding quite a bit into the supply chain function, but I would like, as revenue operations becomes more of a function inside of companies, which means that we're looking to integrate and optimize the go-to-market functions from sales to marketing to customer success and extending that into supply chain and product. I would like us all to use this information much more collaboratively and then incorporate it into the decisions that are getting made across all the go-to-market functions, not just primarily inside of sales and supply chain. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah, absolutely. Fabrice, how about you in your world? What kind of things are you tracking for the future of location technologies?
I would say over the last 2-3 years, we've already seen a major shift with our customer, which I've been speaking a lot about safety, but this is what today our customer doesn't want to wait anymore for bad news happening. They don't want to wait for crash anymore to be able to react. And thanks to data, now they are able to identify and to react before, I would say, crash happen. And this is something which is a big change because for many years, they were waiting to get the crash happening, or even when they were doing some work, they had some difficulty to measure the impact of the decision. They have to wait for 3, 4, 5 years before being able to measure the impact. Now with data, they can measure the impact within 4, 5 months, which is a big change on their daily activity.
Yes, that's definitely a trend we want to see more of. It's great to hear. And Aldona, do you want to wrap us up on this question? Looking to the future, what are you tracking about changes in location technology?
To build up on what both Dana and Fabrice mentioned, there's clearly a trend on focusing more on predicting events that and the likelihood of them occurring compared to facing the consequences. And this provides a lot of opportunities, of course, around personalization. And me as a user also, I feel like there is this expectation from apps and services in general that they will know what will work best for me, and that I will get a recommendation about what music I would enjoy on a Tuesday morning, or how to optimize my calendar and things like that. And we have a growing trust towards companies to know what would work best for us. And this also brings to the surface a question of user privacy and ethical data management, because all of this unlocks a lot of possibilities for collecting, storing, analyzing data. But at the same time, as we can see in tech in general, when reading the news for big and small companies, that there are a lot of fights and arguments around like what data we collect, how we do it in an ethical way. And we as a company, we definitely want to leverage data about place, time, geography, and especially for us as a company that our core service is built on like map and movement around the cities. So we definitely want to use that data to make informed decisions, but also help users make informed decisions. But at the same time, doing it while maintaining integrity and respecting user privacy. So I think it's with the very fast pace of development and innovation and technology, it's important to continuously ask ourselves, like, are we being transparent enough about what we collect and how we use it? Do we provide users control over the data? Because they are ultimately the owners of this data and should have control over it. And so I think it's an important question to ask ourselves, especially as development moves faster than other things catch up with this. So I think that this is a responsibility on us to continuously like ask ourselves those questions.
Couldn't agree more. Thank you, Aldana. All right, let's take a few questions from the audience here. So first off, we've got a question for Fabrice. So the question is, as a driver, how can I benefit from the data analysis by Michelin Mobility Intelligence? Is it possible for the public to see the results of your research, for example, to identify dangerous roads?
Yeah, I would say we have already making some of our work public by identifying some area of risky zone, but also the other way, it's to approach the public authorities or lobbying association to push to use more and more data to make our roads safer, because today with the huge amount of data that has been collected, we can really make an important boost in terms of safety on the road.
Great to hear. All right, we've got a question. I think this might be in relation to Aldana, your mention of AI. The question is, how are security and privacy being considered while enhancing location services with off-device AI? Do you want to take that one, Aldana?
Yes. I think since it's still a bit unclear how exactly the development will turn out, and the main rule we have at a company in general that we rely on it to a certain extent. We try to combine sources because there is always the risk of mistake, and we never share our internal data with different AI tools. So I think at this point, this is I'm not sure if that's the right way to do it. This is what we are testing and trying it out, and I think a lot of those things will clear up the more the development progresses. But yeah, at this point, I think it's important to treat it critically and to not fully trust it, but try to combine different sources and draw conclusions that align with with your internal thinking, with the values of the company.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like a pragmatic way to experiment with that technology. Yeah. We also have a question direct to Dana. Dana, regarding the excellence report that you mentioned, how strong is the correlation between visualization, tools like Mapbox, and decision excellence? Can you clarify what decision excellence means?
Decision excellence is just based upon those two factors that I mentioned. It was the enterprise connectedness and also the ability to make high quality decisions in a rapid way. When we did the report, we didn't go and ask specifically about mapping technology, but we did ask about data visualization. And I would consider mapping technology to be an advanced aspect of that. So there's a high correlation between the quality of the decisions and the efficiency of those decisions. And it's pretty intuitive that when you present information in an intuitive and actionable way, the decisions get made more quickly. They're much more reliable, and people spend a lot less time on interpreting data and more time on executing.
Great. Well, thank you. I think that touched on a lot of the different themes that I'm seeing in the questions. So hopefully that answered folks' questions here. It's all the time we have for live questions. Thank you so much to everyone who submitted. If you submitted a technical question about Mapbox, we will try to answer it in our Ask Me Anything sessions at the end of the week. So please join us for those. A big thank you to our panelists, Aldona, Alonso, Fabrice, and Dana. We so appreciate you sharing your expertise and look forward to continued collaboration. Now, this concludes our keynote today. Tune in tomorrow and the rest of the week for our breakout build sessions. Remember that for every session you attend live, you will be entered to win a Mapbox prize pack. I hope that you enjoy the week, find answers and inspiration that help you build with Mapbox, and discover how you too are a location leader like our panelists today. All right. See you tomorrow, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.